Is criticism against George Soros ever not anti-Semitic? That's the question.
Ms. Burdett has offered to answer that.
No, but you mentioned Mr. Soros. I want you to answer.
Oh, so you want me to-
There's no phone a friend here in the Judiciary Committee. I want Israel to win and Hamas to lose, but this is not an Armed Services Committee hearing about the military. It's a judiciary hearing about speech. And in that vein, I am reminded of the great words of the philosopher Austin Powers, who said, "There's only two things I can't stand: people who are intolerant of other people and the Dutch." And a similar tension seems to be on display today, because on one side of the witness table, we have people saying, we have speech that we would like to have vindicated, and we're under this tremendous pressure from these entities that offer a heckler's veto of what we're trying to get out. And then on the other side of the table, you have people saying, well, there's speech we really don't like that's anti-Semitic and problematic, and we got to figure out ways to root it out. There is an inherent tension in having that discussion on those terms. And increasingly, it feels as though if we like speech, then any effort to constrain that speech is really problematic and the committee needs to explore it. And if we don't like speech, we're increasingly censuring it on the House floor. We're increasingly confronting it on pretty negative terms. So I guess I want to just go through some of the statements some of our witnesses made. So Mr. Marcus, a celebration of what happened on October 7th, let me disclaim, is offensive, horrid, but is it constitutionally protected speech?
Thank you, Congressman. It may be, but it depends, and I'll give you an example.
Okay.
If you say, I'm going to celebrate Hamas, and then you celebrate them by giving a big talk, doing a little dance, that can be deeply offensive and protected.
Right.
But if you say, I celebrate Hamas, I am part of Hamas, their mission is my mission, and I will do what I can to advance them. That may be material support for terrorism, depending on what exactly you do.
No, I think that's right, but what you focused on there is the conduct. I think that was a really good explanation and parsing of it, because speech is different than conduct. When someone says, I associate with this known terrorist movement, then that association has more of sort of a conduct flavor than someone saying, I think what happened on October 7th was good, right?
So I think that's right, Congressman, but with one caveat from the law interpreting the Terrorism Act, which is the following. Material support doesn't need to be dollars. It could be guns. It doesn't need to be guns. It could be pens. And it can be the sort of PR activity that could be done by a commercial firm.
Man, see, that's the thing. PR activity sounds a lot like people talking. And so I just think we have to be careful with that. But I do want to move on, because I think it was Dr. Nadell. Is it possible to criticize George Soros without being anti-Semitic?
I don't know all the tropes that people use to associate with George Soros, but when they talk about
No. Not when they talk about something else. Is criticism against George Soros ever not anti-Semitic? That's the question.
Ms. Burdett has offered to answer that.
No, but you mentioned Mr. Soros. I want you to answer.
Oh,
There's no phone a friend here in the Judiciary Committee.
What has happened in the United States is that we use different code words.
Right, no, I'm not, that's not the question.
No, wait, I'm answering your question.
Okay.
We use different code words to disguise anti-Semitism. And so Soros has become the code word that replaced Rothschild.
But is it possible to criticize him without being anti-Semitic? Yes or no?
I don't know the context. I'm not going to talk without knowing context.
That is just an astonishing thing. And similarly, you said any critique of globalism is anti-Semitic. Now that really is an Austin Powers.
No, what I said was that the word globalist, I didn't say any critique of globalism. Okay. What I said was the word globalist had become the new code word
but it's not,
for the internationalist code word from the previous period.
But you ascribe that motive. See, when I criticize globalism, I'm often criticizing the UN, which then in turn goes around and criticizes Israel. So if critiquing a globalist entity that criticizes Israel is anti-Semitic,
So why use the word globalist instead of the UN?
well, because the UN's goals are to have a global order over things that deprive countries of their sovereignty. One of those countries is Israel. That is the great hypocrisy of what I think is frankly a reverse trope, that any criticism of Soros or any criticism of globalism is somehow anti-Semitic. Sometimes they're just criticisms of Soros and of globalism. But I see my time's expired and I yield back.